to Some Good News Milan. I'm your host, Alden Tuesley. Today is Friday, June 12th. Coming up, we hear from Coach Jesse Hoskins and longtime Milan resident and leader, Brent Huck. We look back on the success of Sunday's senior car parade. We'll hear about the reopening of Milan Main Street and more. First, I want to address the current state of our nation. Last week, SGN Milan took a break to listen and respect the voices that need to be heard. 1 week, however, is not enough. It is crucial for us to continue to pay attention, participate, amplify, and more. We stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. For ways to help, visit https://blacklivesmatter.card.co/. Thank you. This last Sunday, MHS Seniors were supposed to walk across the stage at graduation. Instead, the seniors got to practice their prince and princess waves as they rode through the streets of Milan in the senior car parade. Two parents, Penny LeBlanc and Rhonda Barron, worked to pull this off. They estimate about 75 cars participated. Some carried 2 students, totaling about 100 seniors. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Next, let's tune into an interview with Coach Hoskins and Brent Huck.
We've made it to our third week of our sports segment here, and throwing you a curveball, switching gears a little bit. The first 2 weeks we interviewed Milan senior student athletes, and today we are going to talk to a former teacher at Milan, current administrator on the other side of the state, one of my great friends, Mr. Brent Huck. How you doing, Mr. Huck?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
This is awesome. This is like a early 90s college football clash, U of M versus Florida State.
Yep, that is true. Very true.
Back in the heyday.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little background for the people of our relationship. We were hired in the same year at Milan. And how many years did you spend here at Milan?
I was there 7 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
7 years, and then you decided to move up in the world. How about you give us a little bit of update about what have you been up to since you left Milan?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was at the middle school teaching 6th grade for 7 years, and then my wife and I moved to the west side of Michigan, live in the Grand Rapids area, and for the past 7 years, I have been teaching in Jenison Public Schools and assumed a principalship at one of their elementary buildings, and did that. Like I said, I've been a principal for the last 4 years, and the next year I'm going to be a principal at an elementary school in Caledonia Community Schools. So it's crazy to think that spent 7 years in Milan and have already spent 7 years over here. It doesn't feel like that can be true. It feels like just yesterday or last year I was at Milan coaching football and teaching at the middle school, and it doesn't seem like it can be true that I've spent an equal amount of time over on the west side here as I did in Milan. It goes by fast.
And I think that guys like you and I can't stress enough that those were formative experiences for those young people, but they were formative experiences for us as young teachers and as young coaches, and just as young men dealing with people younger than us, serving people younger than us of how to go about our business and how to create relationships and sustain relationships, and how to really get the molding process right, which,
yeah, I mean,
you're able to do a little bit.
You're building that foundation brick by brick, and all of those are really important bricks, and some of them are cornerstones to kind of what you become as a leader, as a family man, as a professional. All of those early experiences are so very important because they kind of get you headed in one direction or another, and those definitely steered me in the right direction, and I still lean on those kind of experiences today as I'm making decisions or trying to plot out a course or whatever that entails. You fall back on those for sure.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and I know you're gonna be woken up early in the morning by some excited boys, so I don't want you to get too far past your bedtime.
Yeah, no, it's almost 10 o'clock. I'm actually surprised none of them have woken up yet. Um, normally by 11 o'clock, one of them's up wanting something to drink. Something. Yet last night it was, I want something to drink that has flavor, not water.
Oh, wow.
So not only do we wake up and want something, but we kind of demand what it needs to be. So yeah, but no, I appreciate you having me on. I don't know how much sports we talked, but if there's a philosophical segment on this, I'd love to be part of that too.
There you go. There you go. Well, at least Alden Tousley will, I'm sure, frame it for us in a way that makes it work within the show. So I'll leave that up to him.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I miss you.
All right, buddy. I miss you too. Great talking to you.
All right. See you.
All right. See you, man.
Thanks, you two. It is definitely inspiring to hear from Milan area schools leaders, past and present. Speaking of Milan area schools, let's turn to fan favorite Franklin Barker for some fun facts.
Hello, I'm Franklin Barker, and I'm giving you 5 fun facts from Franklin. This week's edition is Milan Area Schools. Hashtag MAS Big Reds. Let's get right to it. Fact number 1. Barnaby Paddock was a Milan High School physics and chemistry teacher and later the principal. He worked at Milan High School for 35 years, 1926 to 1951. Paddock Elementary School opened in 1957. Hashtag Pad Pride. Fact number 2. Did you know when Simons opened in 1969, it was called Milan Middle School? In 2003, when the new high school was opened, this building became Simons and Upper Elementary School. Simons is named after Clayton H. Simons, who was the Milan area school's superintendent for 29 years, 1964 to 1993. Hashtag Simons L. Fact number 3. In 1958, this building opened up as the new Milan High School. It was designed for students in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade and only had 14 classrooms. After several renovations, it now has 35 classrooms. Hashtag PowerUpMMS. Fact number 4. Milan High School opened in 2003. Even though the school was new, the fight song was the same. I know Milan, you are doing fine. Do your best for MHS for victory, sure this time. Rah, rah, rah. I know Milan, fight hard for your fame. Fight, Milan, fight, and you'll win this game. Fact number 5. Joe O'Donnell once scored 6 touchdowns in one game for Milan before graduating in 1959. He would go on to be the captain in an all-academic Big Ten at Michigan before an 8-year-long career with the Buffalo Bills. This included winning the 1964 AFL Championship. Returning home to Milan, he was a longtime school board member and on the Milan football coaching staff. In recognition of his outstanding community support in 2010, the football field was named after him. Hashtag Gano Milan. Right back to you, Alden.
Thanks, Franklin. There's a lot of awesome stuff going on in downtown Milan. Retail, bars, and restaurants were able to reopen this week. With restaurants only able to open at 50% capacity, some businesses are getting creative. Take a drive down Main Street and see the new parklet in front of the Owl. Peppers is planning to install their parklet in the coming days. Other businesses offering outdoor seating include Life is Sweet, Fenders, OG, and Brooklyn Sidetrack. Make sure you get downtown, shop and dine locally, and help us celebrate the reopening. But remember to wear your mask and continue to follow social distancing practices. If you're downtown often, you might have spotted this cat. His name is Ned, and he resides on First Street. We've dubbed him Ned the Neighborhood Cat. Ned and I have been friends since 2015. Keep your eye out for this cat the next time you stroll along First Street. We now turn to Ashley Kirkus. Ashley and her husband Thad are the owners of the Ink and Dye Shop downtown. Ashley herself has been a lifelong resident of Milan. Let's turn to Ashley for this week's segment of So, do you have a favorite band of all time?
Oh gosh, my favorite band of all time is
Yes.
Motion City Soundtrack. Motion City Soundtrack.
Sounds like there's a bit of controversy with the two of you, but we'll go with your answer.
Sounds good.
So, who is your favorite superhero?
So superheroes, I'm obsessed with the X-Men.
I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, my mom had a crush on Wolverine for a very long time. And my last question, what is the craziest thing you did during quarantine? Because I know I was pretty lax during it. I didn't really do much, but...
Craziest thing I did during quarantine? I don't think I really got crazy during quarantine. No, we played a lot of Uno. We worked up here in the studio a bunch, and then just hung out with the kids. I don't think I really got crazy. I'm trying to teach myself how to plant and grow things and have a green thumb, so maybe that's crazy new talent. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ashley. Our last good story this week comes from our viewers. At the end of May, the wonderful Kona ice truck made 14 stops throughout Milan. It made for a yummy treat and a little bit of excitement during the stay-at-home order. Thanks, Kelly Faro, for the news and pictures. To be featured on Some Good News Milan, fill out the survey we've linked to the post. We'd love to hear your stories and see your pictures and videos. We can't wait to hear from you. I leave you with a quote. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. Ida B. Wells. Again, I'm your host, Alden Tousley, signing off.